Welcome back to AFTV. We're still here in Washington, and just before the All-Stars game tonight, we thought we'd just chat a little bit about the latest on transfers, because there has been some news potentially. We're just going to break down a little bit on Thomas Partey. We did the Forever Arsenal, the three of us, and we was very much kind of talking like, look, it's kind of a done deal. He's not on this tour, and we're hearing that he's agreed terms here, there, everywhere. So we want to sort of, go back on that a little bit, because now it turns out he's flown out to Washington, and he's going to be a part of the tour along with Emil Smith-Rowe, mainly playing from the Man United game, and of course Barcelona in LA and New York as well. We're here in Washington on the, where are we? The wharf, aren't we?
Yeah, the wharf.
This is pretty stunning.
Robbie's boatyard. I mean, pretty decent. Nice views, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's stunning, man. This place is absolutely beautiful.
Weather, everything is banging.
Helicopters about to come over us as well.
That might be the players flying in.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
maybe Partey's just landing actually.
Yeah.
It's unreal, that, isn't it?
How about that?
There you go.
You men are brave recording that though, man. These men will just shoot you on sight. You know, better be easy.
We'll be back home by then.
Let's talk Thomas Partey. Like I said, we were on Forever Arsenal, very much talking about, not like it was a done deal, but I think we all felt that it was heading in one way. Has anyone changed their mind after reports that he's now flown out? Well, we know he's flown out, and that Arsenal aren't willing to do it without a sizable fee. They don't even really want to sell him anyway. I've even read some reports that actually he's not even really pushing for a move. I think this is just one of those that if it materialises, it does, but no one's really forcing the issue, Turkish.
To be honest, the latest report is exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand why I would be entertaining it anyway. And then you hear Saudi Arabia and you think, all right, cool, the money might be too good to turn down and potentially reinvest in better long term. But the reality is I want to keep Partey. You can't be losing two of your three midfielders after a season where you've essentially challenged for the first time in a hell of a long time. It just didn't sound good to me. I was trying to make excuses in my head that, listen, Declan Rice has come in, hopefully we reinvest the Partey money into a Caicedo. That would have been great. But the reality is I'd rather be keeping Thomas Partey because his experience and his quality. Throughout the season, we was all debating whether he was the best DM in the league or the best centre defensive player in the league, because he was that good throughout. Yes, it dropped off at the end, and yes, that's become a reoccurring theme, whether it be through injuries or inconsistency on the pitch. But he's a quality player, and now we've got Declan Rice in. Now we have a chance to pose something different. Without Partey, we all know it would have been Rice, Havertz, Odegaard. With Partey, Rice, Odegaard sounds a lot stronger to me because I have doubts about Havertz. Yeah,
it sounds like a pretty unreal midfield. I mean, in fact, my follow-on question to both of you is going to be about what that means for Rice's position. But let's just say, cool, he's flown out on tour, he starts the Nuremberg game. Arteta clearly has a plan that involves Partey this season, and if he leaves, I'm sure there's a backup plan. But Rice, Partey, Odegaard would be pretty phenomenal.
I mean, like you said, we said it yesterday, Thomas Partey is the best midfielder at the club. I'm not including Rice in that yet. Some would say he's better than Rice. It depends what side of the fence you're on with that. But to me, if you're trying to build, you build on the quality that you've already got. Now, I understood people were saying, he's 30, Saudi might give us 40 million for him. But unless you're bringing me a Tchouaméni or another top quality player who's a lot younger, I don't see any reason why you would sell him. He's won big trophies. He's played in the Champions League, which a lot of our team haven't really got a lot of Champions League experience. And
yeah, that's a good point.
I don't think you want to bring Rice into the club and just throw loads of responsibility on his shoulders. You want him to be able to just ease his way into the team. We've said that, going to places like the Etihad and Anfield, when the going gets tough, if you've got Rice and Partey, that is a solid midfield pivot. They might be able to get hold of De Bruyne or somebody and shut him down. We've been, he's had easy games against us in the past. So, like Turkish said, for me, we need to be keeping it. And I hope maybe him and the manager have had a conversation. He said, listen, I want to keep you for another year. You've still got a major role to play. I know people keep talking about at the end of the season he breaks down a little bit, but I think he's had too much responsibility on him, since he's joined us.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Very interesting, literally in the hours before recording this, clips coming out of Arteta talking about it. It was a very good question. They were like, listen, essentially, they're like, what's your plan with Rice, right? Because you've got all these options and where's Havertz going to fit in or whatever. He described Rice, Jorginho and Partey as the 6 holding midfielders that they have. Interesting to actually throw in El Neni. I know we kind of think a certain way, but anyway. But he's got a lot of options, and El Neni is one he probably will use every now and again if kind of needed. The way he was talking about it, I know he grouped Rice in that set of sixes. But Partey played every game last year when fit, or actually towards the end of the season, no, but largely did and has been important to Arteta. He loves Jorginho. I know maybe we don't all see it in the same way, but he loves Jorginho, and actually towards the end of the season was putting a lot of trust and faith into him. So is Rice really coming to just leapfrog, you know, the pecking order and just be our starting six, and he's just going to reinvent Havertz? Because I can't shake this feeling that he's here to be a Granit Xhaka number 8.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew we'd want to upgrade the 8. I thought we'd want to add competition to the 6 long term, because Partey would still be here, and I knew that Xhaka, as much as he'd done well in that position, he had a great season by his standards and by all expectations, we could do better. So initial thoughts with Rice was he's coming in to go into the 8. And then remember we spoke and I had doubts about how good he is in the final third and how much of an improvement that is. And then with the news that Partey potentially leaves, then it all kind of made sense. All right, Havertz comes into that role. Arteta mentioned Havertz as a midfielder. So everyone then went on to the notion that it'd be Rice, Havertz, Odegaard. I think the way it is now is you have options. You have strength in depth. I would have been nervy about leaving just Jorginho and El Nene behind Rice, because that drop-off is massive. I'm not a big fan of Jorginho and El Nene as much as he's been a loyal servant to the club, and I like the guy. He's got a good character, and I think he's a good man. Footballer, I think we can do better. So this news, like I said at the beginning, is exactly what I want to hear, and hopefully it is the drawing of the line on it. Yeah. Because we do need to sell players, but we need to keep hold of the players that have got us this far as well.
And there's plenty of other, I don't like you using the word assets, makes it kind of dehumanised a little bit, but you know, there are other players that you can sell and make that money. Yeah. You know, Balogun, Tierney, I mean, plenty of others. We've got Pepe in the squad, Lokonga, apparently Burnley only want a permanent move. So if I said to you, our midfield options going to next season are Vieira and Odegaard competing for a place, Partey, Jorginho, El Nene competing for a place, Rice, Havertz, Smith Rowe competing for a place. Are you taking that right now? Window shut now, would you take that?
I think in an ideal world I'd like one more.
Really?
Yeah, because some of those guys you're mentioning I would move on. So maybe I'm being a bit greedy here, but my aim is for the club to win the league.
Yeah.
And I think if you're one injury away from Jorginho or El Nene, I still think there's an issue. Because like Turkish said, the drop-off is too big. Partey and Rice to El Nene, Jorginho. Jorginho is very good on the ball. Off the ball, there's massive limitations there. So there's still question marks over a lot of those players. Fabio Vieira's got to do a lot more. Smith Rowe, we haven't really seen that much in the 8 role. Last season he was injured a lot of the time. Listen, I think with Declan Rice, initially he'll play deeper, because we haven't seen how good he is as an attacking player yet. At West Ham he was quite restricted, played with Souček. I think he only got 4 goals last year. I think eventually Rice becomes a more box-to-box player and can maybe add goals to his game.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let us know in the comment section below. Would you be happy with those midfield options I mentioned? Of course, that is dependent on Partey staying. He has flown out. He's here in Washington. He won't have a part to play against the MLS All-Stars, but he is expected to play a part in the United and Barcelona games in New York and LA. And of course, Smith Rowe's flown out, and that's another big question. We haven't maybe even discussed it as much as we should on this channel. Perhaps that's a video if you want to see it, let us know in the comments. But where will Smith Rowe get his minutes? Because there are just so many options for every position right now, which is a good thing. This is what we wanted, but obviously when we know that sales are potentially coming, it makes you wonder, well, who they're going to be and how's that going to leave us. Let's see. Transfer links as well keep coming, so make sure you check out Transfer Daily and all the vlogs and everything that's happening here in Washington, and we'll see you very soon.